Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on channel 347 or live stream on our internet channel www.hilaal.tv. All the way from the Cape Town studios, my name is Lukman Shadrack. On technical duty, we've got Sahel Barnes. Last week, we started our very first motorsport show, and it was an amazing hit. And we thought, let's invite a couple of other legends that have paved the way in this exciting sport. We all love watching motorsport, but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that our viewers, I think, should know. In studio today, I'd like to welcome Brother Faizel Coetzee and his son Daanyaal Coetzee. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Jazakallah so much for coming into studio. It's a bit different. I know you guys are normally at the track this time and you're preparing and you're doing all sorts of things when it comes to, just before the weekend as well. But it's such an amazing sport. And I thought our viewers need to know what goes on in motorsport. So let's start with Brother Faizel as well. So you've been in the sport for a number of years. How did you get involved? What sparked, excuse the pun, this passion?
I've always loved cars from a young age.
Okay.
And growing up with cars with Ahmed, also known aka Ahmed Ugh, from a very young age, it's always been there. We've always been in cars and stuff like that. And 1990, Ahmed bought his first race car, and I was, one of the people that assisted with
And
the
what
car
type
and
of
stuff
car
like
was
that.
it? 1980?
It was a BMW E12
Okay.
535.
Right.
Which he raced in 1990 till about 92
Okay.
against the great legend Jesse Huggett.
Right.
You had Dave Kopke with his Mazda R100, Coetzee Swanepoel
Right.
with his Opel Kadett with the Superboss engine
Sure.
and stuff. And then Ahmed stopped racing for a while. And, all because of financial constraints and stuff like that. And then he went into drag racing. And then, and I got married in the interim.
Right.
And my wife didn't like motorsport, and she said, don't like it.
Most wives don't.
And I said, okay, no problem. I'll take a back seat then.
Right.
And then my two boys, Daanyaal and Amar, was born. And I just said, one night I just asked her, can I go to the racing stock cars?
Right.
And she said, yes, but I don't like it. I said, no, but I want to take them. And
Right.
I told her, if they don't like it, then I just won't go. And I went, and the boys were enthusiastic.
How old were they at the time?
Amar was, I think, around about 8 or 9.
Okay.
And Dana was about, I think, 4 or 5.
Right. And at that time, the races were held where?
All at Killarney Racetrack.
In Cape Town.
In Cape Town, yes.
Fantastic.
Which is now known as Killarney International Raceway.
Such a wonderful track. I mean, we had Uncle Armin in here last week and we were chatting about his days in the racing scene as well. And I'm sure you must have met so many legends during that period.
Yeah, no, there is. I used to sit and watch the famous Cyril van der Merwe racing, who was great on track and off track.
Correct.
You had Ben Morgenrud with his famous Mazda 323 rotary engines. Willie Hebben, who's still racing today, as well as Ben Morgenrud. They are still racing.
Right.
And I've had the opportunity to race with Ben Morgenrud in the G&H Extreme Supercars.
Right.
Which those are things that I used to go and sit and watch them.
Nice.
Because the opportunities weren't there. But now the opportunities, and I had the opportunity, which is
100%.
If you sit back and you look at it, you think, oh.
Of course. So we're going to open up the WhatsApp line. If you can remember some of these wonderful images, races, racing scene, maybe you were part of the circuit as well, let us know. Let us know your stories. We'll tell it to our viewers. 079-085-2511. That's the WhatsApp line. Only WhatsApp messages, no phone calls, unfortunately. Only messages. You're welcome to send some pics if you like. We'll definitely try and chat about them as well. But Faizel, I can imagine at the time being a father, being a young father as well, the concerns were there around the safety issues as well, especially if you wanted your sons to get into the sport.
Yeah, I always maintained, we guys, I used to be a passenger, Ahmed's co-pilot on the street racing, because that was the guys only did, was street racing. And, seeing so many people die, youngsters, as well as married men, who had wives and kids, and I always said, you know what, I'm not going to allow my kids to race on the street one day. Right? And I always maintain that, and I've told them, you just don't know what it is for a parent when somebody dies out on the street.
Of course.
And remember, when you die on the street, there is no medical services close by. On
The
the
challenges are definitely extreme, and
You go
obviously
race
there's
on
so many moving parts
Yes,
when it comes to that. And then Daanyaal smiling as well, because I'm sure he's done 1 or 2 street races in his time. Maybe he didn't tell you.
No, yes, he has. I'm well aware of it because I will see it on social media afterwards.
Okay, that's where it comes out. You can't hide anything these days, Daanyaal.
Not at all.
Can you remember the first time you went onto a racetrack? Can you remember that feeling?
I do. It's just not driving or just being by the
Well,
track.
just maybe going to your very first race.
I do remember the first time I went to the stock car racing, as my dad said. I loved it because then they had like a road car race where they would tell the spectators you could bring your cars.
Okay.
And we told my dad that time, "Hey, go, you must." Like we wanted to also do it.
Right.
And he said no, whatever. And then yeah, say about 5-6 years back, I got my first race car, which was the Golf, the Mark 1.
Right.
I just started just to get the feel of racing, just to feel how it is to be on the track with the guys, and just that feeling alone, I was over the moon. Yeah.
Okay.
That was yeah.
So was it you and your dad that built the car and then you raced? Tell me how that came about.
So the first car that I got was a Mark 1 Golf. That one we bought. It was just it was a cheapie that came available, and my dad bought it for me. Yeah, I started with that car. Then that was when Sean that's the one that's over
Okay,
there
that's
now.
the Golf on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was driving at the back, getting used to the racing. My first race was in the wet, as you can see over there.
Yeah.
So I had no tires. I still lent tires from a fellow competitor.
Right.
And yeah, I had my first race. It was I got the car into Class F. I finished 1 race in Class F.
Nice.
I did about 2 or 3 races in the car.
Yeah.
We sold it. Then that was when I got upgraded to the E46 M3.
Okay.
So, and from there, it has just been a learning curve because I had to learn the car. It was from front wheel to rear wheel drive. I didn't know a car. I started with go-karting, but I mean, go-karts to cars. And being on the track, your G-force, the adrenaline and everything that it just takes, it's completely different.
Right.
So
I would imagine from the very first race to your racing now, you've evolved into a standard where it's become a lot more technical.
I would say yes, because if like when you're out on the track and it's a qualifying lap and you need, like it's that one shot hot lap that you need it's a clean lap, your mind, you only focus on one thing. So whether if you're gonna miss your braking mark or you're gonna turn too early or turn too late, it's gonna compromise your exit or going through or wherever, it's gonna take a toll on you. So yeah.
How much of that is the races that you're now competing? How much of the preparation is more the logistical side, and how much needs to come from the talent that you have?
So if I don't have my team behind me, I can't perform.
Okay.
Without my car, if my car's not 100%, I'm not going to perform.
Right.
So from the start of the race week, which is probably a Monday or Tuesday, depending on how serious we are about it, the Tuesday will be by the track, whether it's just being there, prepping the garage, prepping the cars, maybe just pulling the cars out, checking the cars, doing wheel checks, whatever. That is all what we do. And then it comes Thursday practice where you go out, you drive the car. So we go out to Thursday practice to see if there's going to be any problems. Because we can have one weekend, the car's perfect. Right. And then it comes onto that week where come Thursday, now we have vibrations, or it's a prop, or it's something to do. It's a quick fix, but it takes a toll on you as a driver because it's at the back of your mind.
Of course.
And being on the track you're constantly doing 180, 200. Sure. Like through the bends and stuff like that.
What's the typical race? How many laps is a typical
race? So it's 8 lap per race, sprint race. So we'll do like your formation lap, then your 8 laps, and then it's qualifying and all that stuff that goes. So that's
prior to the race. So and on race day, you then have qualifying.
We'll have a morning qualifying, and then there'll be like your race 1 and your race 2. But it's just the waiting period between the races is it's that anxious because sometimes it would be maybe a 2-3 hour wait between qualifying in your first race, and then it's like maybe you all day you have to wait in the
Of
last
course.
race of the day. So
And the setup of the car would depend on the weather as well?
yes.
Okay.
And so setup of your car, your tires that you drive with, and the person who sets your car up. So luckily for me, I have Sean, who is my mechanic, and he's been with me from the Mark 1. So from say 2017 up till now, we've grown so close with each other, the bond that we have with each other, and like I can come in and I can say, Sean, this wrong, and I can go out again and it's gone.
Right.
I can
Brilliant.
even
That's
if I'm
the
on,
level of trust you have in
Exactly.
your team as well.
like if I come in after qualifying whatever, they jack the car up, they check the wheels, you do your basic
Your
checks
prep,
again.
yeah.
I can walk away from my car and I can go do whatever I want. I can go to driver's briefing, whatever. Come back, I can put my suit on, I can get in my car. I don't need to still ask them, was the wheel stopped? Was this checked? Was that checked? That's just the trust that I have in Sean with my brother and Masood also.
Amazing. And do you have comms to communicate while you're on the track?
So I do have comms, but this year we used it because I wanted to stay in a certain class.
Okay.
Because I knew if I had to go to class A, I didn't have yet, I never had the funds yet to buy new tires
Right.
to actually compete there. So
Wow.
being in through the classes and stuff, I've always been using maybe a second-hand set of semis,
Okay.
or I had now and then a new set, but I would prefer old set again.
Gotcha.
So
We're going to take a very quick ad break. When we come back, the WhatsApp line's open, 079 085 2511. Please correspond with us. Let us know your thoughts about the motorsport industry. We have a wonderful, wonderful audience that likes to attend races. If you have, let us know your experience as well. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back, we chat to Faizel and Daanyaal Coetzee around their history in the motorsport industry. You are still watching Hilaal Live. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on Channel 347. Always a pleasure having you in our company. I hope today's episode is entertaining, and what you can do is correspond with us on the WhatsApp line 079 085 2511. That's the WhatsApp line in Cape Town. You're welcome to send through any comments, questions. We've got Faizel and Daanyaal Coetzee in studio chatting to us today about their wonderful contribution to the motorsport industry. Gentlemen, Jazakallah so much once again for coming into studio. It's very entertaining. I have so many questions, but we only have very little time to try and cover as much as well. But Faizel, with regards to the industry itself, the racing fraternity, you've been involved for many years. What are some of the significant changes that has happened from the time when you started racing to now to when Daanyaal has started?
Okay, if I look at back in the 80s and 90s, Clubman's, which is the series that Daanyaal's currently racing in, the guys the rules were there to race with road tires.
Okay.
Right, and that was the rule. Then at the time the guys were racing, there was the Yokohama AW8, which was like a sort of semi-slick, and everybody wanted to buy the tires, but it costed a lot of money.
Yeah.
And over the years, the rules has evolved where now they can race with slicks, right, or semi-slicks, depending on the guy that's racing, depending on his budget,
Right.
and where he wants to be when he comes out and race. You know, you can come and race. You can come with your little road car, put the roll cage in, and have the seat belts. Whatever, as long as your car conforms to all the safety aspects, you can race it with road tires, but obviously you're going to be driving at the back of the racing, right? So depending on where your budget is and where you want to be within the racing, right, your budget can go from a local racer of about 20, 30, 40,000 Rand to 10, 15, 20 million Rand.
Wow.
Right, depending on the car you want to buy and where you're going to race.
Speaking about some of the money that gets put into the sport, I mean, are people coming out to sponsor races, drivers, events?
There are sponsors that come and sponsor the series. Like currently, the Clubman series is being sponsored by Thermo Fires Clubman's.
Okay.
That's what the series is not, but the company that sponsors Thermo Fires, which is Stephen Gous and his father. They're there. Then you've got the other categories at Killarney, right? But preferably our focus more on Clubman's currently because that is where Daanyaal's racing. My son and my eldest son and myself, we will normally do the GNH because currently our cars don't conform to any series at Killarney. So
I
we
see.
race the GNH Transport when they do come down, right? And obviously, that series has evolved from what it was a couple of years gone by, where guys are buying cars now of anything from 4 million to
Upwards.
15 million, right?
Wow.
And that will be your Lamborghinis,
Right.
your Porsches, your Ferraris, your Aston
So
Martins.
supercars.
You know,
Yeah, supercar race
supercars.
And close to hypercars, I would imagine as well. Okay, interesting, and thank you for that feedback. And we're hoping, that somebody watching this could then come on board and say, you know what, I'd like to sponsor Daanyaal. That's what we're hoping for, inshallah. Daanyaal, you've competed now for how many years?
I think it's now 6 years.
6 years.
6 years now, yes.
What are some of the races you've competed in, and some of the trophies, medals, accomplishments?
So my highlights for the 6 years that I'm racing was winning the junior championship after COVID.
Right.
And then going again for the overall championship now this year and winning my Western Province colours.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
yeah, it's been something I've been looking forward to a while from.
So when you win
back,
your provincial colours, what do? Then compete
So-
obviously against other provinces, and where do those races take part?
So obviously now, after getting my colours, I don't know what's the next step for me. Hopefully I get open doors, or I'll get the opportunities to go further. But otherwise, so we just raced like our clubman's championship. It's a regional championship.
Okay.
So if you win your junior championship and you win the senior championship, you'll get your colours. If you win junior championship twice, you'll get your. That's Sean. Yeah.
That's the mechanic.
That's my mechanic.
That's
So that photo was taken 2019.
Okay.
And from that photo, we've grown into he's like another, I can say, older brother to me, or like another father figure to me. So
then what are some of the other races that you've actually competed?
So I've went down to PE in 2021.
Gebeka.
Yeah, the new name. That was also achievement for what I had at the time with where my car was, what I was running with. We had issues, that's upsetting. You go so far and you have an accelerator cable that snaps, and then you get another one that comes the next race. So,
right.
But in all, it was a good weekend.
Brilliant.
I was racing there with my dad, and I think Amar also raced with that. No, he didn't.
Okay.
He was on the sideline. Yeah.
Okay.
So doing racing with my dad and being with my brother also involved in the racing, it's just been something that I've been looking forward to growing up, and
Stunning.
to be living that dream. That's accomplishment already on my own.
Besides the camaraderie you have with your team, have you met other drivers, pit crews that you often look forward to seeing at the next race?
So there is now and then there's certain drivers that you maybe like, you'll have a rivalry on track with them, but off track I greet them, whatever.
Awesome.
But then you have your other teammates and pit crews and stuff like that. That's
it's a little hesitant to become friends. I get it. You can't be friends with everyone.
You can't also be friends with everyone.
The picture on the screen, that was the BMW, right?
That's the E46
what
M3.
model is that BMW?
So that's the E46 M3.
E46. I had one. Mine doesn't look like that though.
No.
Yours looks a lot better. I can see.
So that's my brother's one.
Okay, that's your
So
brother's one.
that's the turbocharged one. That's the wide body kit, bigger wheels, and all of that stuff.
Right.
That's the Clubman's car. So that's the one that I'm racing with now, currently in Clubman's with.
Right.
Championship winning car and stuff. That was 2021. After I came back, we redone the car and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the E30. My dad's E30. That photo was taken 2011.
Brilliant.
So I won't forget that. And then that was last year, Extreme Festival, where we just finished the car with the stickers, new body panels and stuff like that. And we came back, and it was a...
as a racer, do you get asked to attend exhibition events? I mean, how's your career, and where do you think your career should evolve?
So I don't actually have yet. I haven't been out there where I've gotten invited to maybe a
exhibition, or
like
maybe
you
a
said,
music video, or
anything.
something like that.
So I haven't been yet out there. So I think like after this year now, with winning my colors and with the championship, I want to take the next step. So it's going to take a bit of hard work and determination again and sacrifices and stuff, but that's something that I'm willing to do.
Brilliant. But Faizel, coming into the sport, people often think that it's actually quite easy to get into motorsport. But what advice do you have for those that would like to get into motorsport?
It's not cheap,
Right.
which my wife has always maintained. And she always says she don't know how we can be racing in motorsport because
Right.
it's a rich man's sport. So where do we come from? I said, Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala made it possible
Absolutely.
for us to
Yeah.
race. But if you don't race on the street, guys,
Mhm.
because you will lose your car today,
Right.
you can lose your life, right?
Or hurt someone else in the process.
Which 99% of the time is. You are not yourself just involved. You can take out a whole family,
Absolutely.
right? And you might survive the accident, but you will never be able to live with yourself.
Safety first.
Take your car. If not, go to Killarney Raceway, race your car there. Right? Forget about street racing. Because from what the roads were in the 70s and the 80s, the traffic has evolved to where there is traffic right through the night. No road is safe anymore to go and street race.
Brilliant advice. I like that. Daanyaal, as a young person in the sport, you often have buddies your age. I would imagine they're very proud of your accomplishments.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for somebody your age or younger that would like to get involved?
If the advice I have for them is
Besides don't, what other advice
go
do
for
you
it.
have? Okay.
Just go for it. If you have the backing and you have the funds and you see yourself progressing in motorsport or racing, go for it.
Yeah, but it's not the same like playing PlayStation and
Not
video
at all.
games. It's very, very different.
Obviously different because with PlayStation everything's under control. You might know how to work
Just
yourself.
reset the button.
Yeah,
And
reset.
yeah,
You make
there's no
accident.
reset
Yeah.
in motor racing.
So yeah, but with the motor racing, one mistake, one late braking or a small mistake, there's literally the smallest of mistakes can end your day, can end your car being written off or hurting yourself.
Yeah. Some of the trophies you brought along, what are those trophies very quickly?
That one over there, that's the junior championship that I won in 2020.
Right.
That third place trophy over there I got when I went to PE.
Brilliant.
I got the GNH trophy from Extreme Festival that I got in September, in March.
Okay.
And then my previous Class A trophy from Clubman's where I finished first overall for the day.
Okay, and that glass one next to it is what we're going to give you guys to take home as a trophy. Guys, thanks very much for coming into studio. It's been an absolute pleasure learning about your history and your contribution into the motorsport industry. Thank you so much for paving the way, Faizel, and for allowing youngsters like Daanyaal to be safe on the circuit and to progress and to make us proud as a community as well. So well done, and keep flying the South African flag strong.
Shukran.
My absolute pleasure. And that's how we end the Motorsport show for today. Thanks very much for tuning in and being part of this amazing show. Next week will be our last show for the year. Do tune in. Our WhatsApp line will be open for that, so you can contribute where you can. From the Cape Town team, Sohail Barnes and myself, Lukman Shadrack, have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.